Welcome one and all, this is WESN and we're talking the NFL today, the NFL recap. Sean Michael Small is alongside me. Sean Michael Small, an interesting weekend of matches, in some ways, some surprise results only in terms of the teams that would have lost and only in terms of how some teams won. What are your thoughts generally?
First thing, you know, watching so many games, and of course, one of the issues trying to watch all of the games is so many of them happen at the same time. And it's such a long period that you have to commit to watching. So I can't remember all of the games where this happened, but there seem to be a lot of big interceptions, fumble, returns for a touchdown, blocked field goals, blocked extra points. I can't remember. But a lot of those types of plays, which normally like you might get one or two a week, but it seems like we got more than usual. In fact, one team got two spectacular plays and still lost, which was somewhat disappointing. But I just found, yeah, like what's up with special teams this week? What's up with blocking kicks? And we even saw a kick return, which has become like an extinct play in the NFL when they changed the rules, which to me, injury concerns, I understand, but the whole point of having the capacity to make a play has been almost completely removed. So at that point, why not just start the ball? Why kick it off? Why not just start the ball at the 20-yard line and 30-yard line if 90% or 99% of the kickoffs are going to result in a touchback? So it was a weird week in that respect. Some teams have solidified their position. Some contenders now are watching their dreams and hopes and potentially their window close, which is really the scary part of franchise.
So soon, after 5 matches?
Well, the thing about it is when you're not trending in the right direction, yes, you still have time to right the ship, but it's harder, right? Yeah, you could take some flukiness in the first 4, 5, 6 weeks, and it's not as though these teams are, well, the teams that are contenders, it's not like they only have one win. You know, they're 2 and 3, you know, it's not so bad. But at the same time, in some cases, you're losing games that you should have won. You're losing games to teams that you should have beat, right? And also, you're seeing the holes. So if you're in regular season mode and these holes in the makeup of your team are so apparent, what's going to happen when you get to the playoffs? And I think this is one of those things where I'm wondering if it's almost like if the environment of the NFL and the trends, if organizations, I don't know if like they're truly on top of what's going on and what it is they need to be successful. And it's making the Chiefs look like geniuses because it looks easy for them. But I think one of the issues I have a lot is when, oh, well, this coach had Peyton Manning or this coach had Aaron Rodgers when he won the Super Bowl, and like, no, well, you still need somebody to understand how to manage the organization around these superstars. You still need a Phil Jackson to manage the Bulls around Michael Jordan. If you fail to do that, and I think I saw the clip recently where he just asked Michael, who's the open man? Well, throw it to Steve. And Michael threw it to Steve, and Steve made the bucket. And it was like he understood psychologically, look, I need to prove to Jordan that this could work. So it's not about forcing him and pushing him. And then now with football now, you know, there's a lot of moving parts because there's a lot more players, there are a lot more stars or people who think they're stars, right? And there are a lot of coaches. Yes, there's some retreads. Jim Harbaugh is back. Not as though the Chargers are wowing the league with Herbert. But it's not like before when I'm like, ooh, this is a big name coach, that is a big name coach, next one is a big name coach. Now that the first coach has been fired, we're already seeing, okay, where. In fact, the coaches of some of the top teams they already, the media, and this is what the media does, is already starting to say, okay, who's in trouble because the windows are closing? Because it's not just about you're trending in the wrong direction now after 5 weeks, but also when you look back in the last 3 years. And technically, you're not going up, you're going down over the course of the last 3 years. Then the expectations are not necessarily matching with reality. Not everybody is going to pull that back out. Not everybody, I mean, Sam Darnold took, I think this is his third or fourth team where, okay, he's finally come back out of it. Baker Mayfield, this is his fourth team, I believe. He had a stint with the Rams, after the Browns, and I think with the Panthers, right? And now he's with the Buccaneers. A roster that looked as though it was starting to get too old, and yet the old men are playing well, the young men are playing well. He's at the center of it, right? Trying to get teams to fit together and leadership and personalities and what have you.
So is there anything, before we go to our first game, is there anything, Sean Michael Small, that you can ascertain from the first 5 weeks now, we're going into week 6 obviously, that would give you an idea of how things are going? Or you're still up in the air a little bit? Just
that I'm still quite happily enjoying this surprising trend of veteran quarterbacks, some of whom are not the one in Atlanta. Gosh, I don't know why his name escapes me now.
Cousins?
Cousins, right, yes. Not everybody has Cousins' stats and success from that generation. But hey, Donald, Mayfield, right? They're coming back. I have more faith in them than Herbert, who is supposed to be one of the elite talents, right? So now the question is it that the teams that are getting success, the trends are defying certain assumptions on the game? Oh, the passing game, we need big passing numbers. We need to, hold on. The running game right now seems to be more important than ever before over the last, I don't know, 7 to 10 years. And I've been mentioning that, but I feel as though now when I'm seeing passing numbers, some teams only have less than 200 yards a game. And I'm just like, whoa, this is not supposed to be the modern NFL where everybody's so happy and they change the rules to allow Peyton Manning and Tom Brady and Drew Brees to break records easy. Maybe it wasn't that the rule changing made it easy. Maybe it's that those guys were great and these guys up and coming are still trying to figure out how to be great. You know, Patrick Mahomes has figured that out. Although one could argue who is his rival to say that he had real competition in his time. Brady beat him once, well, twice technically, right? Who is his rival? And in some ways, I actually feel kind of sorry for Patrick that he doesn't have a career-defining rivalry. Because when Brady on his roast, right, jokingly said that Peyton Manning will always live in his shadow, it's not necessarily a put down on Peyton Manning. Everybody acknowledges how great he is. 2 Super Bowls, but he's on the Mount Rushmore. The fact that Brady is technically seen as gotten better of that rivalry is more of a testament to how great he is, and Mahomes doesn't have that. He's already technically proven to be better than all of his peers. So who's going to come now and truly challenge him? Yeah, if a young guy comes, maybe, but it won't feel quite the same because in his peer group, he is head and shoulders above the rest. I don't think any of them even have a Super Bowl ring.
None. All right, let's go to our first game here. It is the Colts against the Jaguars.
Again, if the weather does permit, I could see Flacco throwing this 35, 40 times in this game.
So his numbers from last week, he threads the needle and gets right to work. He finds Josh Downs, who was terrific last week
with his quarterback.
Play action from Flacco. He hits over the middle again. That's a first down completion. So 2 plays, 2 first down completions. This time it's Mo Alley Cox. Evaluated for the concussion. He just cleared the protocol. And also Devin Lloyd, who did not play last week with a knee injury, is back in the middle of that defense. This will be a first down run by Trey Sermon.
This is where they have to be better than they've been this season.
Colts protect Flacco, and he delivers a strike. First and goal, Colts. Downs, the workhorse, early in the game. They pick up 10.
Wouldn't be surprised to see Flacco put it in the air.
Flacco fakes the give, throws to the end zone. It is caught. Pittman, touchdown. Definitive decision-making by Flacco.
They have 11 Colts with at least a half a sack. This is a team effort.
Lawrence going to go play action, clean pocket, gets it out to Etienne. Etienne slipping in the initial tackle is going to have a first down play and more for Jacksonville.
They've been excellent in critical situations.
Lawrence gets it out. Etienne again. Etienne making guys miss here at the start. Guy who is so dangerous in the open field.
And crossing routes versus man.
So that graphic, been a long time since they've had a game-opening touchdown drive. Lawrence completes here, but they're going to be short with Brenton Strange making the catch. Boy, Peterson sensing how big an early moment this is for the Jags. Goes for it on 4th and 2. Sidearm delivery, batted down. Intended for Brian Thomas Jr. What a recovery by Jalen Jones. From their own 26-yard line to get the football back to Flacco and the offense. And look at his numbers from that game-opening drive. Flacco climbs the pocket, steps up and throws and completes. And he's still pitching a perfect game. A.D. Mitchell.
Josh Downs.
Flacco drops over the middle. He's got Mitchell, and he's going to be well short. Etienne, the long setback. Play action from Lawrence. Over the middle, he gets it to Etienne. He's been the catalyst so far for this Jacksonville offense. Let's check in with Aditi.
This is where this defensive front seven really gets after it.
Underneath, they get it to Thomas into some open space. Thomas taking on tacklers. He is really close.
This makes a little bit more sense. Good place for a quarterback sneak.
Lawrence going to go for it, and he's got it. Boy, how about that decision by Doug Peterson on their side of the field?
You're now expected to pick up the slack for everybody else.
Lawrence play action, nicely done. It's Bigsby, first down and more. Bigsby breaking free, he's got plenty of green grass. See Jacksonville's red zone touchdown percentage worse than the league, but they're going to get another first down here.
Now Gus Bradley with extra defensive linemen in the game.
Second worst run defense in the NFL. Bigsby with that little side-to-side maneuver. Grover Stewart. And so Cam Little on to attempt a 23-yard chip shot. And Jacksonville finally gets its first points.
All right, an improvement in the third down, because remember we were speaking about how awful they have been on third down.
No, they were still awful on third down. They were still so he went for it on 4th down twice.
Yeah.
He only made once. If he didn't go for it the first time and got the field goal, because I think they won a 25-yard line or somewhere around there, it would have been 7-6, right? So here's the thing. He is 0-4, right? Now, future, us in the future, that is after the week of games were played, they just fired their head coach. Just fired their head coach because they were looking at, well, a couple of reasons. One of the things that's thought, hey, they want to make use of what might be Aaron Rodgers last year. He might retire. They might not have him next year, or he might retire outright. And they want to take advantage of that because he's here now. They didn't get to have him last year because of his injury, right? And they're not liking the direction of the team, so they fire the head coach, right? Now, the thing is, I mean, with that situation, some people have offered up the fact that while the head coach might not have been great, the offensive coordinator and Aaron Rodgers himself might be bigger issues for the organization than the head coach. So to fire him at 2-3 is kind of unfair. If he was that much of a liability, I can't remember if it was Nick Wright or Greenberg that said, well, maybe you shouldn't just have him this year to begin with. You should have got somebody else. If this last year of Aaron Rodgers is so important, why hold on to him? It's not as though he looked good before. Now, Doug Peterson, Super Bowl winning coach with the Eagles back with Nick Foles, right? The idea is he was supposed to develop Trevor Lawrence. He's supposed to correct the mistakes of Urban Meyer, right that ship. The problem is 0-4, ain't looking hot. So when he goes for it on 4th down in the first quarter, and he fails the first time, and he's not just within field goal range. He is well within what should be an automatic field goal. If you miss it, that's how kickers lose their jobs. You give up guaranteed points. Why is he so aggressive? It's not as though he's playing against Mahomes or the Ravens or the 49ers at full strength, you know, or Tampa Bay with Tom Brady at the helm or what have you. Yes, I understand the Colts are not pushovers, but Anthony Richardson is hurt again with an oblique injury. Joe Flacco is no scrub, but the game now starts and you're doing high risk Harry Ward plays, and in 50% of the time, just in this quarter alone, they did not pan out, right? And in fact, the second time you did it, you still didn't get the higher reward. You really just got the consolation prize anyway.
Are you saying that the coach should be fired?
The problem is, again, what did I say? The trend over the last 2 to 3 years. It's not like they're trending up,
I know.
right?
Particularly last
I don't know if he should be fired this year, but and depending on how things goes, like if they lose this week, he just might be fired now, right? Because with Saleh being fired, it's almost like if the floodgates open. Well, I'm not the first one. I'm not the first one to do it. That's seemingly arbitrary with maybe not a good enough reason. Because they say because they lost in England, Woody Johnson being a former ambassador, was so embarrassed. That's one of the reasons why. It was an ownership decision, huh? It wasn't a GM decision. It wasn't, you know, it's difficult to say how much of a football decision it was, right? The Khans might get the same way. They see the example, they follow fashion, right? And the trick is you really need somebody to determine as best as possible, and it's going to be subjective, will this hamper Trevor Lawrence further, right? Hey, you know whose name popped up in one article? Bill Belichick.
Well, I think that's already. All right. I wouldn't mind. Let's go. It was the end of this game. That's good news here. Good news. Get rid of Meyer. Anyway, let's go.
After starting 0-4, the 92 Chargers. Jacksonville hoping to take that first step. Bigsby on a pitch. Bigsby first down and more. Bigsby breaking free. Tank Bigsby trying to turn out the lights on the Colts. 65-yard sprint. Flacco started hot before this Jacksonville defense was able to tighten the clamps. Flacco into some tight spaces, and that is caught. Alec Pierce somehow in traffic against Buster Brown.
Almost 5 minutes left to go in all of your timeouts.
Flacco taking a shot toward the end zone. He's got Pierce. Touchdown.
No way.
Long setback is Sermon. Sermon in. Touchdown.
Can they make the play they need to be able to close out this game?
Arch, we saw this last week in Houston, playing with the lead. We saw those extra passes, couldn't really put the game away, and this Lawrence pass is incomplete.
Flacco with another chance.
Just can't overstate the weight of the moment now for Jacksonville. This is Sermon finding his seam. Trey Sermon with a first down run.
And in big moments, they haven't been able to finish and make the play.
Flacco pulls it back, puts some air under it. Wide open is Pierce. Massive breakdown, and it's Pierce in. Touchdown. Joe Flacco brings them all the way back. Jacksonville starter, that game in Houston got them to 8-3, and then the free fall began for this Jacksonville franchise. That's a first down run there. Fresh set of downs. Lawrence, as they work with 2 timeouts, slings it to the far side, completes. That's the tight end Farrell.
Again, I would blitz.
Lawrence, near side. Open is his man, Kirk.
It really doesn't matter. You just can't have a negative play.
One play to get a little bit closer. The operations down, the kick by Little is perfect. And he's given Jacksonville the lead with 17 seconds left. 2 touchdowns in the quarter. He's got 3 on the day. Flacco running for his life. Sacked. It's Walker.
Again.
And the Jacksonville Jaguars win it in a Week 5 thriller.
Peterson, Meyer gone, Peterson has to go. So that was awful. Absolutely awful.
I mean, they won.
Yeah, but
yeah, you're
24
right. 24 points in the 4th quarter alone.
Absolutely awful.
That's basically all but 10 of the Colts points. Listen, And again, Flacco is one of the old guard, and I appreciate watching him play well. Technically speaking, he played better than Lawrence. 33 for 44, 359 yards, 3 touchdowns. Lawrence, 371 yards, similar stats, except 2 touchdowns, 1 pick, right? The thing is, that third down bugbear for the Jaguars, 3 of 10,
Wow.
right? You know, I mean, the Colts were 50%, 7 of 14. That was part of it there with regards to the efficiency. Turnovers were, both teams lost a fumble, right? Penalties weren't that high, less than 50 yards penalties, so at least it was that. Sacks allowed, though.
When you know.
Your Jaguars sacked Flacco 4 times, nothing in return. So it seems as though the Jaguars' offensive line played well this game. I think there were concerns earlier on in the year after week 2.
He got some good sacks.
Right?
But I want to say this. Someone was telling me Andre should have lost because there was no doubt that had they lost that game, he was gone.
Yeah.
Peterson was
Yeah,
gone.
you know,
He would be on his bike.
That is one of the funny things about the NFL, because a team will win and then all of a sudden they'll lose the first overall pick. And they're like, we lost almost all the games this season and we don't get the first overall pick. What's the point of losing so much, right? Because now the flip side is, look, you know, the Colts pick Andrew Luck, and then he retired because he had a poor offensive line. He was getting too beat up. And the number 2 pick right after him only really survived as a number 2 prospect for 1 year. So it's not that easy. You have Trevor Lawrence. I find it hard to determine where is he in the hierarchy, right? Because a quarterback's position is like a point guard. You need the players around them
I think he lost
to
confidence.
do well.
I think he lost confidence.
Maybe, but I mean, the man threw for over 300 yards, which is a big feat.
A win is a win.
But
What?
I'll say this. I do wonder, yes, the Jaguars probably need a soft rebuild, which is sad because they just drafted this young man. If the offensive line kind of works out, and maybe it will be because the early season reasons why, then that's a big deal, because that's one of the main components that I think teams, not so much that they are underestimating, but from what I understand now, it's harder and harder to draft pro-ready offensive linemen because they're playing this college game, which is so different, which is why it's easy to bring these college players to the pro offense. But then again, you limit yourself and you expose your quarterback to certain physical injury risk when you have so much design runs for him in your packages, right? So if they have that sorted out, you know, I don't know necessarily what else they need, because you're right. It's not as though they don't have the same, generally the same talent that they had before, from what I understand with regards to the pass catchers and such. And then it goes to, well, maybe it's the coach. Maybe it's a cultural thing. Because I remember when the Chiefs 12 to 14 years ago, they had the number 1 overall pick. There was no good quarterback that year. They drafted an offensive tackle who played in the Super Bowl loss to the Buccaneers, and eventually they moved on from him. He wasn't even that good of a player, right? They had to overcome that. They went all the way from not just being at the bottom of the barrel, but having essentially one of the worst number of overall picks we've probably seen in the last 2 decades, right? And now look at them. They are the current dynasty, the current multiple ring holders. It's just that, you know, it took a decade to get there, right? Trevor Lawrence is now in year 4. How much, you know, you want to take a whole decade to get there?
Not enough time. Move on. Bill Belichick. Colin Bill Belichick. Let's go. Game number 2.
He's happy.
I never thought I could.
He's happy.
He's happy. No, I want you to be.
Single setback is Cook. Fake it. Allen, step and throw. Cook is open, breaks 1 tackle. Cook is still going. Cook across the 40-yard line for a first down. First down at the 35. Cook again. Cuts through the hole. Cook to the perimeter. And they wrestle him towards the sideline with Lassiter there.
They ran that play with the idea that they could be in 4-down territory.
It's a run play, and it's Cook for a first down. Absorbs the contact. 2nd and goal.
Remember, anytime you're in an empty set, Josh Allen can be a runner.
Allen. He was thinking about it, and he gets mauled back at the 15-yard line. Tyler Bass, it's been a little bit of an adventure so far this season for him. Trying to get on the board, and Bass knocks it through to give Buffalo a 3-0 lead. 3rd and 5 now for Houston. Rush coming, Stroud gets rid of it, perfect timing, and he hits a Bmobile for a huge gain. Cam Akers is in there. He had started the previous 2 games at running back. Fake it, Stroud, set it up on the outside. Catch made, Nico Collins. First down.
How many great coaches have said the bench is a terrific motivator.
Stroud on a give. Akers the acceleration. First down. Mixon had that hip drop tackle in week 2 against Chicago. Give. Akers cuts to the outside for the touchdown. Dalton Schultz with a key block. And the Texans take the lead. They have 3 in the first quarter, costing them 20 yards. Shotgun on 3rd and 11. Rushes on. Allen unloads, and Coleman can't grab it. Why don't you smile more out there? I get locked in. I am becoming more aware of where the camera is at all times. Deep shot. Stroud. Nico Collins is gone. Touchdown, Houston. 67 yards on the bomb. From the gun, Allen. He's going to run with it. And Allen's got the angle for the first down. He took a hit at the end, and then he just tossed the football.
That ball might be out and available for Houston. I think they let it play out.
In an NFL game. Allen, step up. He's going to throw it across his body, and Hollins can't haul it in. Bobby Babich in his first year as the defensive coordinator, 8th year with Buffalo. Stroud makes the connection. Hangs in there and tosses to the former Bill, Stephon Diggs. Agunbowale remains in there. Stroud has the time, floats it up. Hauled in. Tank Dell. First down into Buffalo territory.
Sean, surprised at how good Houston have started this match. Houston, Texas, with the young CJ Stroud against Allen, who's been around. The Bills touted by many to be Super Bowl pretenders yet again. Well,
touted by me to be a Super Bowl pretender. I think coming into the season, some people had high expectations. The thing is, I was surprised last year, then a little surprised at the beginning of the season, but by now, like, since they were able to consistently show us something from the beginning, right, maybe they'll fall off. But I'm not necessarily looking at the Bills to say, oh, the Bills are going to be this juggernaut that's going to, like, overwhelm them with talent or overwhelm them with play calling. Yes, Allen has the talent. But one of the things that I guess is kind of where a lot of these teams, like the Chargers, the Bills, the Cardinals, and to some extent even the Texans, right? The Jaguars, the Colts, what is their identity? You know, you kind of know what the Ravens' identity are. Run first, defense. The Steelers traditionally was kind of like that. You still want to have a good quarterback for ball control, but run first, defense, right? That's traditionally what it is. The Patriots, bend but don't break defense, and then Tom Brady dinks and dunks down the field, and we control the game, right? What is their identity for these teams? Especially the Bills, because Josh Allen is 28, right?
The Bills are nearly men.
The Josh Allen being 28, Herbert I think is around the same age, right? Granted, for other positions, this is the prime years. For quarterbacks, not so much. But this is when the prime years, maybe you could say, start. And I just said, you know, well, Peterson, you want to see Peterson go, right? Saleh is gone from the Jets. That organization seemed to be dysfunctional for his entire tenure. Not all his faults, right? Sean McDermott is there with the Bills, and I'm like, listen, you're not going to get rid of Josh Allen. You ain't going to change the quarterback, right? Not everybody did it. The Eagles did it. We could question the effectiveness of that decision because it's not like Jalen Hurts won a Super Bowl since. But you're not gonna get rid of Josh Allen, right? Unless somehow, maybe if Patrick Mahomes is available in trade, that's like the only way you're gonna do it, right?
Happening.
So the point is, you get rid of the coach because at 28, you maybe have 5 years of prime playing years left, And then he's potentially going to decline. And what are you going to have?
We have the news. That's what we have. The news. When we come back, we talk about Bill Belichick and the 20-year-old. We'll be back.
Lord.
Young at heart, purpose-driven, patriot even. When you like to party, but are still passionate about discussing important issues, the only place where your needs will be met is WESN Content Capital.
Every day, we communicate through stories. Stories of ourselves, our challenges, our goals, our experiences, and our aspirations. Storytelling is an art that we have mastered. WESN Film Studios comprises a collaborative team of experts with extensive industry experience locally, regionally, and internationally. The ability of your business to successfully communicate with your preferred audience depends on the strength of the stories you tell. Your vision should be communicated in a high-quality, professional, and creative way. From concept to post-production, advertising to film, multi-camera productions, live events, streaming, and virtual conferencing, we are WESN Film Studio. Let your own unique voice be heard and your vision realized. Call us today at 628-5835 for your next production.
Come travel with us as we explore Diwali across the globe. Diwali is celebrated in many countries worldwide, but do you know the traditions and practices of each nation? From Guyana to Australia, WESN presents Diwali Passport.
October 9th to October 30th, with replays on October 31st.
It's Diwali Passport, a WESN exclusive.
All right, welcome back. Let's go straight. We have the last 3 minutes of this exciting game between the Houston Texans and the wannabes, the Buffalo Bills.
8:17 to go. This is the 10th play of the drive. Play action. Stroud intercepted. He threw it right to Bernard. Bernard drifting backwards. Giveaway by Stroud. Buffalo takes over. Inactive pectoral injury that he suffered week 2 against Miami, and he's back in the lineup making things happen. Allen trying to make it happen, and he does. Allen turns it upfield. I love when quarterbacks fake. Allen out of the pocket being chased. Allen hit as he throws. Incomplete. The pressure building. Allen is down. Mario. 2nd and 10. Stroud in trouble, loses the ball. The Bills trying to jump on it. Ball was bouncing around. Buffalo's got it. Allen on the move. Allen slings it. Incomplete. Ferguson, the snapper. Martin, the holder. Pass from 33 yards away. He knocks it through. We are even at 20-20. 2:33 to go. 3rd and 6. Stroud flips it. It's complete. Schultz got the step on Rasul Douglas for the first down. 3rd and 10 for the Texans. Stroud throws it. Room to work. Catch made. First down. Agunbowale motions out of the backfield. This is 3rd and 5 for Houston. Stroud floats it. Nobody home. Dalton Schultz in the area from their own 3-yard line. Allen throws on first down. It's a battle. Keon Coleman. And a flag is down with Lassiter there defensively.
Let's see what Buffalo does.
From the gun. Rushes on. Allen waits and throws. He bounces it. Curtis Samuel, the intended target. Will Anderson Jr. put the pressure on Allen. Sam Martin. Gets it out of there. Sailing kick. Woods from the 41. Clock is moving. 8 seconds. 7 seconds as Woods stumbles. Stroud.
Gonna run out of time.
Over the middle. 2 seconds. And they get the timeout. A 59-yarder. Snap. Placement. Sweeps the leg. Fairbairn. It's good. Clock City. Houston gets the W. 23-20 the final. They knock off the Bills at the buzzer.
They knock off the Bills. They're doubting the man, C.J. Stroud, but he's looking good.
When did I doubt him?
Well, I doubted him.
It's Allen. Right. No, because you have a bias. You're hoping for his downfall, right? You don't want to see him excel.
I wanted him downfall.
Meanwhile,
I make no bones about it.
I mean, he did throw what did not look like a good ball that got intercepted, but he was 28 for 38, 331 yards, only 1 touchdown. But his counterpart threw for just 131 yards, right? Less than 200, less than 150. 9 of 30. How are you going to be an elite quarterback and you are less than 1/3 completion rates of your throws?
Something
right?
wrong.
50 yards rushing, but he still doesn't make up offensive numbers to compete with his counterpart on the other team, right? And he took a big hit there. And I think all of the trends, unfortunately, they're interconnected, right? It's not in a vacuum. So you say that the passing game is more important. And then you say, well, the passing game is important, and if we get a quarterback that could run, who then also passes the ball, it'll be dynamic, and how will defenses stop it? Well, the problem was, back in the day, your linebackers were these huge guys, right, that had to stop maybe not so much a fast running back, but a more physical running game, right? They weren't necessarily fastest guys. So when these big 260, 280, well, maybe not 280, but 260-pound guys are trying to run after Cam Newton, it's not looking good, right?
No, it's not.
But if you notice, a lot of times now when these quarterbacks, they try to evade pressure, instead of running around, like remember Patrick Mahomes in the early days, he would like be running for like 10 seconds all over the place, right? Aaron Rodgers used to do that. Cam Newton used to do that. What's happening now is they're basically being boxed out by a disciplined defense that has the speed to keep out to them, and they end up just running to the sideline. They have nowhere else to go because there's a man in front of them, a man behind them. So they just kind of chuck the ball, parallel along the sideline. Sometimes their guy catches it. More often than not, they don't, and it ends there. Or they try to make a run, and then you could get hit and injured. The irony is, by discounting the running game, you made the defense faster because they had to deal with the passing game. But outside of Tim Tebow, most quarterbacks are not going to be physical runners. So these lighter, faster defensive men are already well equipped to deal with your scrambling quarterback. Now, Josh Allen is coming in there. He has all of the physical talent, but I've always questioned the mental part of his game. Now, granted, the Bills ran the ball well, which is kind of sad because this is a game that kind of proves my hope for seeing the running game to come to prominence. It's kind of proving that wrong, right? Because the Bills were the better running team, 150 yards to 94. But overall, I think the offensive production for the Texans shows that a quarterback in the pocket throwing the ball is where he's going to do the most damage. And now the question is, 28, you can't say that you have an elite guy, and if this is going to be his average in prime years when he's supposed to be at top of his game. Sean McDermott is, I believe, a defensive coach, which I actually, maybe I prefer. But then again, look, Andy Reid has a good defense, while he, as the offensive coach, is managing that most delicate, prized asset. The crown jewel of any franchise is to have a superstar player like Patrick Mahomes, and he is directly managing that. And you're seeing the results for it. Maybe Josh Allen, if anybody has any hopes of him getting to not even Mahomes' level, but a level of which he could consistently compete, you're going to need to do something similar. Get an offensive coach now to change that team's direction. Because I don't know if the defense is that good anymore anyway.
All right, let's go to, oh, no, let's go to the picture. We've got it. Have we got it? Let's see Bill Belichick. There it is.
I would just like to point out
Bill Belichick. That is why he can't coach right now,
your
people.
Your jealousy is oozing. Right? That's point number one. Point number two, somebody should send Bill Belichick this clip so that if he ever considers the Jaguars, he'll have a reason to say no. Because there's some madman on Trinidadian TV, right?
55 years younger than him.
Well, I mean, what you want?
Bill Belichick.
You know what they say? I mean, success is attractive, and he has some of the most success you'll ever see.
And you know,
8 rings.
And you like Bill Belichick more than Tom Brady?
I think they're equal in
do you want to emulate Bill Belichick?
I mean, if I'm single in my 70s and you know, I mean, you know what I mean? Yes, I would. You don't want to know why? Because I wish I could have a boat that every time I win a championship, I have to change the name. Because he had a boat and it was 6 rings. And then when he won, I think it was the 5th Super Bowl or the 4th Super Bowl in New England, he had to change it 7 rings. The math might be wrong.
So your future has gone with him because of the boat? A bumpy ride, or what kind of ride it is? Anyway, let's go. Next game.
You know better than me, Andre. You know better than me.
He's going to need a spectacular day to compete against this defense.
On the fake, it's Murray rolling out across his body. Trey McBride is back, and a big gainer to McBride all the way up to midfield. Pistol formation here. It is Murray on the keep. It's Ivan. Oh! Kyler Murray! Turn on the afterburners. He's gone! How's that for a start?
Superhero, superhuman. Him with the ball in his hands, what kind of player he can be, and just zone read, and he takes it to the house. He knows it.
At the 40, he knew it.
I mean, look at that. Right there. Calls his own number.
Ronnie Bell in the game at wide receiver, so no Juwan Jennings just yet. It's Purdy to throw again. Taps throwing deep, has a man far side. It is caught out there. And a nice catch it is by Ayuk. Oh. Good to see him still in bounds. Brandon Ayuk still going all the way down around the 15. And they won't hear. Quick throw, Purdy sets underneath Debo on the screen. Debo Samuel turns on the speed. He's got a 1st and goal. Got a really good block from Ayuk that time, and it set him free.
They're going to let him do that too easily.
Purdy flushed out, looking in trouble. Purdy is taken down for a sack.
A low-scoring game. Good stop.
Jake Moody from 28, and the 49ers are on the board. 3rd and 10 here. Murray steps away, throws it underneath. That's not going to go anywhere. DeMercado came in as a 3rd down back, but Purdy looking over the middle, high. Oh, what the catch. Brandon Ayuk, go get it. It's a first down. Another fake. Purdy thought about real deep. Now coming back underneath. He's got a first down. Ayuk again came back to the ball. Another fake. Purdy chased out. He can run it. Little fake. Purdy. Oh, stutter step and a first down. We're in trouble. So far they have. 3rd and 5 here. Purdy. Far side has a completion. It's Jennings. Makes a man miss. First down, and he's taken down right around the 16.
Does it in the run game, too. You're going to see him involved in so many blocks. Just a terrific player.
Play clock was winding down. Good throw down to the 5. Ayuk again, and it's a 1st and goal. He's having a half. By far the best of the year for him.
There's no stopping. It's tough for that defense to get up there and stop that.
4 catches, 90 yards for Ayuk. This time Purdy over the middle. Caught for the touchdown. It's George Kittle.
We talked about Ayuk. We talked about Jennings. We talked about Samuel. And now we can talk about George Kittle in the red area. You got Wilson just opening his hip.
Closer game any thought or not?
Yeah, something feels off for the 49ers. Now, at this point, you know, Brady said it there on commentary. Juan Jennings had a good catch. Samuel had a good catch. Ayuk was playing well. Kittle got the touchdown. So right now, snapshot of the 49ers offense is, this is looking real good. Because those are your guys. All those guys are legit guys, right? Particularly the wide receivers, Samuel, Ayuk, and Jennings, who any one of them could have over 100 yards receiving in a game, right? And the question is now, well, why don't we have minimum 2 of them having 100 yards or close to 100 yards every game? Because they should have the talent. Why is it? And this is a question that stems from last season, right? It's not quite as bad last season. But what is it about an offense that apparently you have pieces that everybody wants? Ayuk being up for grabs on the trading block, and everybody wanted to lobby to try to get him, right? And I think potentially it's good for the 49ers to not trade him away if they could afford to keep him. That's a whole other salary cap situation, right? What is it about this offense where you have all these guys? Yes, obviously, you don't have enough balls to throw around for everybody to have 100 yards, right? I mean, teams are going for 300 yards of passing offense, and you're normally going to have about 6 guys, 7 guys to have at least 1 catch. Like, it's just not going to happen. You're not going to have like 3 guys with 150 yards each. But what is it? What is holding this offense and this team back? And I'm starting, and this could be a prisoner of the moment situation, but I myself am starting to wonder if this coach and all here, which is funny because here is the offensive coach, who the risk is, because I think with the Patriots, when Josh McDaniels moved on to be head coach of the Raiders, and he busted at that, and his second time being a bust as a head coach, that may have been one of the big things that caused Mac Jones to regress, right? Here comes Brock Purdy. This is his 3rd year, maybe a 2nd full year as a starter, as a pro, right? Do you change his offensive coordinator, which is the head coach right now, Kyle Shanahan? Does that damage his development? But at the same time, you're looking at the team, and I feel as though, yeah, he's good as a coach for the quarterback. But as the head coach of the team, and maybe even as a play caller sometimes, I'm not too sure, because this is the same guy that was the coordinator of the offense of the Atlanta Falcons that was up 28-3, and then they lost that Super Bowl, right? Up in the 3rd quarter by 25 points, they lost that Super Bowl. He was one of the coaches involved in the offense. The offense of that Falcons team was the strength of that team, not the defense. It was the offense. And the defense was giving a Herculean effort in that game for about 2.5 quarters, right, by keeping the Patriots' offense down. So I'm not sure if it's within Kyle Shanahan's DNA, because there's always going to be those coaches where, and even quarterbacks, Phillip Rivers is one of those, you know, a good quarterback. I don't know if he's going to be a Hall of Famer. Marino was a Hall of Famer, right? But did they win? And you'll have similar coaches as well. Yeah, they could win games, and they could be good coaches, and they could be respected coaches, and they could develop the players, right? But He made it to two Super Bowls, doesn't have a ring yet, you know. So I'm being a bit premature, probably, right? But I'm kind of not liking the eye test of the team where it's like, yes, they show these flashes and they should be great, but I'm not sure. Meanwhile, Murray does that incredible run. But I've seen something almost exactly like that, you know, almost 10 years ago at RG3. Down the right sideline, sensational run. And apparently after that run, his coaches told him, I've never seen anything like that before. And it was literally just like, you outrun the defense as the quarterback, right? But it's so sensational. And Murray does it here. And I still can't get it out of my mind. And RG3 did not last long. And how long will Murray last? Has he even played a whole season healthy? And on top of his attitude problems, I'm still not sold, despite the fact that in this game, at the start of it at least, balling out.
All right, let's watch the last part of this match.
A lot of time left in this game. And Purdy's going to throw it again. He's got all day. Over the middle he goes to Mason. Makes the catch. And Mason's going to pick up 9 on first down on the reception that time.
If you get in those long field goals, I just expect them to either punt it or go for it.
Going to run it here. 2nd and 1. Mason breaks the tackle. Oh, what a stiff arm. Jordan Mason running over people. Down to the 42. Garendo in the game at back. They fake it to him. Purdy, he's got a lifetime to throw it. Lets it rip. Ayuk has got it in stride. Down to the 20 and a perfect throw from Brock Purdy. It's a 35-yard try right now, but doesn't look like they have any intention on that. Here's Purdy. Looking. Underneath, Kittle's open. He's got a way to go. Breaking tackles with Kittle. What an effort for a first down. 29 yards and a touchdown for Kittle. Nothing bigger than that. 1st and goal. Mason on the pitch. As it gets to the edge, and he is... Fumble the football! Oh, boy! Everyone dialed on the scrum. Who's got it? Arizona recovered! 49ers show blitz. They come with it. Connor bouncing around back there and just through people. James Conner says, who cares?
Yeah.
Bouncing off people. He's got another first down. Blitz coming. Murray stutters, knocked down at the line of scrimmage. 4th down, 49ers jump, but they get back on side. Blitz again. Murray in deep trouble. Backpedaling, throwing it up for Harrison. Oh, he's got it for a first down. A back foot throw to the rookie, and they stay alive. Down by 2. There it is. Murray on the keeper, sprinting to the outside. First down, and he's out of bounds inside the 35.
No penalties. Again, you got Connor. You're going to feed him here on first down.
Yeah, they will. Right up the middle for Connor, sprinting through everyone. And Connor bullies the pile forward for another first down. Murray, a little zone read. Oh, he's got a lead block. Cuts up Murray, short of the first down. Ryland drills it, and Arizona's in front. Clutch.
But 2 or 3 more of those, and feel like you're in a good position. A lot of time right now.
Here he's got it again. Purdy, Jeff, floating up there, and it's picked off. Kaiser White grabs it in midair, and the Cardinals are going to hang on and win this game. A signature win in Jonathan Gannon's short tenure in Arizona, and for the 49ers at 2-3.
We're in the situation we're in. We put ourselves here. Let's see if we can go dig our way out of it. And they sure did.
Did they ever? First time they've beaten San Francisco since 2021. Kyler Murray was really good today.
What does this mean?
49ers scored 23 points in the first half. Right. 49ers finished the game with 23 points. Yeah. Whole second half, they didn't score one foul. I can't remember if it's John Jones or it was one of the Fox Sports commentators, I believe, that basically called out, it could have been Keyshawn Johnson. I think it was Emmanuel Acho. He called out the coach, and he called out the play calling.
I find you're calling a lot of coaches' names today.
Yeah, well, you see, because the other teams is the quarterbacks. In this team, you have an even greater underdog story than Tom Brady, right? Brock Purdy is at the very least a starting caliber quarterback. And there's no guarantee for you to get a starting caliber quarterback in the NFL. Just because there are 32 teams doesn't mean that you could find 32 guys to be legitimate starters that could contend in the playoffs, much less for the Super Bowl, right? Brock Purdy has gone to the Super Bowl, well, once, had a playoff run, that was only stopped because of an injury, right? His rookie year when he was the number 4 option. There was nobody to back him up, that's why they lost. His play calling, Kyle Shanahan, he called it out for being too cute. Who are you trying to impress? Why are you trying to pass the ball all the time, right? And the thing is, Mason was doing damage at times in some of the games with the running game. You're supposed to be trying to close out this game. You have a lead. The Cardinals scored 3 times in the second half, right? Field goal, touchdown, field goal. No answer to those scores whatsoever. How is it that, and then you're putting all this pressure on Purdy because you want to throw all the time, and he's going to make a mistake eventually because he's not Peyton Manning, who has laid the hard way and is the ultimate field general, right? He's still trying to figure it out. You have those other teams, it's the quarterbacks. This team, okay, you have a guy that's developing well, but you have all of this talent around him, and it's a similar thing. In fact, the talent of a quarterback, you have it for 10 to 15 years.
But I get the opinion that they like Kyle Shanahan.
Yeah, but you see, to have Ayuk, Jennings, Samuel, right, Kittle, to have them all together. It's one thing to have Josh Allen in your roster, you're going to have it for 15 years. To have all of those guys together, right, at the same time.
Will they stay together if they continue to see this?
It's hard to tell because you take a risk when you move on. Look at Tyreek Hill. It's not like he won any Super Bowls, right?
Yes.
But something is off, and maybe Shanahan is just better as a coordinator than a coach because he probably needs a head coach to say, hey, run the ball more. Hey, this is the 4th quarter now. Yeah. We need to change our philosophy. Because here's the thing. I did mention, hey, first half, the first drive, looking good, right? This one could have passed. That one could have passed. Well, some of those names that I mentioned, Samuel had 1 catch the whole game.
Samuel.
Right? Juan Jennings had 1 catch the whole game. So in that one drive that looked good because you spread the ball around to all of your premier weapons, right? They big catches by some of them, but that was the only catch they had for the whole game. What went wrong?
So who will go first? Will it be Shanahan? Will it be?
That one is kind of harder. I hate to say this, but
I feel it will be. Is it Thompson? I feel it will be.
No, Lynch, the GM.
Who will go first?
No, I think you probably give up the coach before the GM.
All right.
Right? Because listen, no one could doubt that the roster is a good roster, but the roster hasn't given you a Super Bowl. So then, if the roster is good, but you're not winning a Super Bowl, it can't be the GM's fault, right?
All right. Point taken. All right, let's go. Next game.
That Ricard is on the move. Jackson to the air. Slings it upfield. Kohler makes the grab. The empty backfield. Hill in motion. It's a 3rd down throw with a tackle made right there on Hill by Jermaine Pratt. 1st and 10. Game opening drive. Fake to Henry. Look at the blocking, especially from Stanley. And it's caught across the way. Flowers will dance at the 10. And he's down to the 8. Cleveland is in as an extra. Oh, he slipped. Then he sledgehammers his way across in a touchdown. Derrick Henry. His 100th career touchdown.
We see as he goes to cut inside, he slips on the turf. He regains his balance, and he and Logan Wilson one-on-one. All you got to do is touch the white line with that ball, and clearly gets in. Loses his footing, but able to get up, regain his balance, lower the shoulder. The knee's down right there, but you can see he's already crossed the white line.
3rd and 1. Brown tries to Burrow, and a nice hit put in there with a great play. Roquan Smith. He leads him in tackling. 3rd down and 5. Stanley the block. Downfield it goes, and on the fly is Flowers. Oh, he's slippery, and he takes it down to the 47-yard line of Baltimore. 2nd down and 4. Ooh, it crumbles quickly. Down he goes, falling ahead. Not much there. And it was Hubbard with another nice play. 1st and 10 from his 14. The fake and the throw. Chase will reel it in. Humphrey was low to get him. Gain out to the 24. Picks up 9. Second down, one. Coming off their probably one of their best performances against the Carolina Panthers, who did beat them deep a couple times. We talked about that. Here is a pitch out. Look at Chase Brown. A lot of work last week. 15 carries and 80 yards for Chase Brown. 1st and 10. Moss back in. There's a block by Brown. Blockers ahead. He follows the block of Kappa. 5 in the secondary. Blocked by Kappa. Burrow to the air. Caught. 25. Grabbing the play by Mike Gesicki. Too late. 1st and 10. Look at the burst up the middle. Brown. And grabbed by Trenton Simpson.
You got Higgins, you got Chase right there.
Burrow.
To the left.
Caught. Touchdown. T. Higgins. Now Humphrey was in the vicinity. The slant was there. An 11-yard touchdown pass by quarterback Joe Burrow.
You're going to see him drop out. He'll come from the picture at the bottom, number 0 there, trying to get to the outside. Just a double slant by Chase and Higgins.
A close game, 2 good quarterbacks. Some say very good quarterbacks, but we will see Lamar Jackson and Joe Burrow. What's going through your mind?
Well, first of all, that throw I found was impressive because the amount of defenders around, the anticipation into a very tight window where anything that goes wrong, yes, one could argue if you make the throw perfectly, the defense should not have a chance to defend the ball. But the point is, the margin for error when he is surrounded by 3 to 4 defenders is any tip, bounce, deflection, anything, and that could be a pick, right? So to make that throw confident, Higgins doesn't drop it. Because, you know, sometimes Higgins drops the ball. It was an incredible throw. The thing about it with the Bengals, and I'll focus on the Bengals here in this segment. Chase, he's under contract, but right now he's on his rookie numbers. And then next year he goes to his real contract that he signed, his extension. Same thing with Burrow. So the thing about the Bengals is this was supposed to be the year, and I think I mentioned this earlier on, right, in the season. Yes. This was the last year of everybody on the cheap rookie deals until the numbers get inflated, and then they have similar problems what the Cowboys have right now. And it's not looking so hot because, yes, the offense is funny, but again, that first year, his rookie year, they go to the Super Bowl. I'm pretty sure if they could have a do-over, they would have preferred to at least pick like 15 and not 31. Right, in the subsequent draft, so that they could reinforce the team. So the irony of the early success, and it goes back to what we mentioned this before, right? You could play your way out of the number 1 pick. Well, they played their way out of a reasonable pick with that literally first year of success. And I do wonder if to some extent the rebuild is a little bit half-baked because the defense is looking a little bit suspect. Now, the Ravens seem to be a bit more pass-happy in this game, right? To what extent is that because they kind of identified, hey, this Bengal defense kind of looking like they could be food? Because Flowers had a big catch there. He was kind of silent the last couple of weeks, right? Henry was doing most of the work. He scored the touchdown, but they had some big catches on the Ravens there. So the thing is this, as much as you're trying to, you have a 1-year window, and this is why the NFL salary cap makes the game, the strategic game of team management, of your roster management, so dynamic and for fans frustrating when it doesn't work out for you.
Who is your money on at this stage?
Well, you see, Burrows is the closest thing of the young quarterbacks to being that elite guy. And it's hard to bet against the elite guy, but you have to question the team around him, right? And if they can't do it this year, they're probably going to lose T. Higgins, and without him, are they going to be able to reload the offense? The trick is not Burrows. You have him longer than Chase. The trick is to try to reload around before you lose Chase, because then you need to find more replacements. But even before you can consider that, what's going on with the defense? Because the thing about it is, as much as the Ravens, they have to be concerned always losing to the Chiefs, I mean, generally, right? The Bengals have to worry about always losing to the Ravens, and the Ravens are divisional opponents, so they're guaranteed to see them twice in the regular season. The fact that the Bengals have a reputation of being able to go head-to-head against the Chiefs doesn't matter as much because they don't see them in the regular season, they don't see them in the playoffs. You have to get to that point in the playoffs for that record, right, and for that narrative and storyline to matter. So this game, to some extent, maybe the timing is bad because psychologically it could be doing a lot of damage, right, depending on how it goes. But Burrows played well in this game. I found he was impressive in this game, and when his receivers aren't dropping balls a la T. Higgins like last year, you know, you see the potential, and I think his ceiling, he ain't Josh Allen. He ain't gonna look like a deer in the headlights. Oh my gosh, what am I doing? Please don't kill me, whatever, whatever. He looks like a Michael Jordan type. He will go for the throats, right? He will step on the throat, and he will never look back, and he will run up the score if he has to. He's not gonna let up. He has the capacity to come from behind, which not all quarterbacks do, including Brock Purdy. His coming from behind stats are kind of bad. Baker Mayfield's, ironically, is kind of good, but just so you know. But he has that Mamba mentality.
So who is your money on, Shawn
on this
Michael?
game or
Yes.
on the Super Bowl?
No, this game, not the Super Bowl yet.
Hey, Derrick Henry might be the best free agent acquisition for the entire year. I said that off air, and I'll say it on air because I just love that addition. And once they get the passing game more consistently unlocked, I think the real problem is not to try to get the passing game unlocked. The problem is there's only so many plays in a 3-hour game, 1 hour of regulation. So somebody's going to suffer. They've reached that point now where they have so many options, somebody might be suffering for touches of the ball to get opportunities to make plays.
All right, let's watch the last part of this match.
That was what was this defense going to do to stop or slow down the rushing attack of the Ravens? They've done a good job stopping the run, but not stopping the pass.
1st and 10, they go underneath, and it's picked up right here by Rashad Bateman. Takes 3 guys to bring him down, and finally they do.
Able to free him, and great job getting that first down.
Hill is in, 1st and 10, and that's a mid-range pass, which is caught and backpedaling to the 44-yard line, and a hard-earned yard right there.
7 guys stacked at the line of scrimmage for the Bengals defensively.
They rush them all. Jackson hit as he throws, incomplete. At the 46, it's a 56-yard field goal to tie the game. In the final 2 minutes of the 4th quarter, he is 27 of 30. This for the tie, and he got it! Tied at 38. 56-yard field goal by Justin Tucker.
If you're getting pressure here, you want to throw, you know, you're thinking like if they're lining up, do you get a screen, get something quick, get it out of your hands? Instead, they go with the draw.
And it's Brown who will be shy of the first down. 11 for Baltimore. Here is the punt. Rico. They let it bounce, and it will die at the 11. And no time remains, and overtime is here. 2nd down and 10. Flowers on the move, over 100 yards receiving. It's Henry. Rosengarten the block. And around his ankles, he finds Hubbard. Jackson to the air. Caught by the back-pedaling Bateman. Takes it into Bengal territory at the 38. 1st and 10, 39 of Cincinnati. Henry back in. Uh-oh, bobbled it. Loose. Oh, it's picked up. It's picked up on the play by Pratt. It's picked up by Pratt. Baltimore is fumbled. Bengals take over. Extra lineman is in there. That's Cody Ford. And off here to Chase Brown. On that 3rd and 7, nothing doing. Nope, he missed it. Wide left. And the Ravens are alive. It's a 1st and 10. Here comes Henry. Ricard a block. Here he goes. Rocketing down the sideline. Breaks a tackle. Down to the 5. Galloping 51 yards. Now Tucker will try to win it. A 24-yarder. The Ravens have won 3 consecutive games. And they do it on the road. And Lamar Jackson goes to 9-1 against the Bengals. And Baltimore wins a beauty against the Bengals.
Wow, yes.
They kicked on first down. If they miss the kick, technically the Bengals get possession, right? So there was a part, I've never seen this before. I was a bit nervous. I'm like, because a fluke could always happen. But it's essentially near 100% of a kick that you can make. The Bengals were supposed to win. You get a turnover in such good field position in overtime. You just need to get like 10 yards. You're within field goal range. You're supposed to win. The fact that they couldn't close that game out is, I think, telling about the team. But Burrows had an amazing performance. The key point is, and to say that the Ravens were the favorite in this game, that was like one of the most obvious things, right? Because it's not as though Burrows was like looking like Superman for the last 4 weeks before. Lamar Jackson more or less stayed neck and neck with him. He doesn't have quite as much yards. He has one less touchdown, but he didn't throw a pick. And to me, Burrows in this week, almost 400 yards, 5 touchdowns, 1 interception. It was like Kobe scoring 60 by himself. But they still lose, right? At some point, there's diminishing returns of you trying to force it in the passing game. Now, listen, they could have won. They could have won. But to some extent, this was the Ravens saying, hey, look, Derrick Henry doesn't need to have a strong night. In fact, if they didn't have that run in overtime, his numbers would be paltry. He finished the game with 92 yards, right? But 6.1 yards a carry thanks to that run. But the passing game was lighting them up. Flowers was lighting them up. I mean, Chase was looking good on the other side, but the Ravens did enough to win. And you're seeing now, hey, okay, maybe we don't have it 100% together to know how we're going to fit everybody perfectly, to say that we're going to maximize everybody at the same time. But that's one of the beautiful things about the NFL and American football. You're not always going to have everybody contribute 100% to the win. Some nights it's going to be Henry. Some nights it's going to be Flowers. Hall didn't have much of a night tonight because there was more about the wide receivers this time. And of course, Lamar Jackson. And this is where Lamar Jackson, if the Ravens want to say Lamar Jackson is Patrick Mahomes' rival, at the very least, no one else except the Chiefs could contend with that decision, right? Because he's the one right now that's positioning himself, and the Ravens are positioning themselves to make a run. So it's going to be interesting to see how that matchup plays out at the end of the season. And we'll be basically every big game between those two teams will probably be trying to extrapolate, all right, what is that matchup going to look like? Because to me, they're the favorites in the AFC to get to the championship game. That should be the 2 finalists right then and there. Of course, injuries could upset that, but we'll see. The Bengals could bounce back later on in the year, come in as a wild card and spoil things. But this defense has to be a lot better, because when the Ravens basically say, we don't really need Derrick Henry to run the ball, and they're still going to beat you, that means that you have a problem, because they are a run-first team for the last 2 weeks, and they're like, nah, we'll just beat you in the air. That's not supposed to be something that's easy to do, and it shows to the versatility of Lamar Jackson's mindset.
All right, let's go on to the next game.
Steelers and Cowboys work the weight. Off we go from Pittsburgh. And Turpin for the goal line to bring it. Flag down right away as Turpin takes off. He's brought down at the 38-yard line. Rico Dowdle is the running back after the gain of 3. He's out of there. They'll split him out 5 wide and complete. Got 5 in the pattern, retreats and throws incomplete. His first miss from this long came last week. This is from 55, and of course, with room to spare, Brandon Aubrey. 4 different starting offensive line combos in 5 games for Pittsburgh. No Jalen Warren, no Cordero Patterson to run. Fields begins with a designed run and gets about 8 yards. Tyrus Wheat, 91 in white, has replaced him. First down for Justin Fields. And his throw is brought in by George Pickens. Out with a high ankle sprain. DeMarcus Lawrence on IR. He'll be out for a stretch with a foot injury. Harris, first down. Down the sideline he goes. Inbounds around the 30-yard line. They finally knock him out.
So a chance to see the Cowboys' young up-and-coming talent. Shamplin is the running back, and the first-year player from Harvard takes the pitch on the edge. He's going to be 3 yards shy of the first down as he's brought down around the 20. Only missed once this year, this from 41. Clean, Boswell cuts one in there. 2nd and 11, Dak throws in the middle, into traffic, held on to by Jalen Brooks. Holds on, and the Cowboys come right to the line on 3rd and 1. And they'll go to the air on 3rd and 1, and Dak's got nothing open downfield, and that should be grounding. Nobody on that side in the tackle box. And the flag comes down. Another storm is brewing. Tropical storms seem to be Hurricane Milton, so we continue to think of everyone down south. Justin Fields back to the air. First down throw is brought in by Hayward to the 33-yard line. Gain of 8 down to Melissa. Back in, so it remains Steeler ball. There was no change of possession, so it is 3rd and 24. And Fields just rolling out, firing downfield and out of bounds. And go punt it away. Prescott protected, throws. CD got the toes down, ruled a catch at the 47-yard line. Big time.
The Cowboys, Pittsburgh Steelers, can they really materialize as Super Bowl pretenders, champions, potential?
Dak is elevating his team, right? They have a problem with depth. Dak is elevating his team.
Dak Prescott, you mean?
Dak Prescott.
Yes.
The funny thing about this is the Steelers are run-first team. I think they were 10th in the league of rushing. At the time, the expectations is, well, just so everybody else running ball the Cowboys, they're supposed to run the ball the Cowboys too. And I don't know if it's because Micah Parsons and Trevor Diggs was out. I mean, their positions are more pass defense. Micah Parsons maybe potentially, because of how he's pass rushing, I don't know if that was kind of leaving holes in your run defense, right? That's what I suspect maybe could be happening, but I'm not a scout. But their run defense held up for the first time in a month almost, right? But that's one part about it. That's one half of the equation, and the other half is the fact that when you have so much money concentrated between Dak and CeeDee Lamb, well, you can't, again, one man on offense does not make. 2 men on offense could only go so far. You need the other guys. And coming out of the last quarter, last week against the Ravens, Dak was annoyingly looking as though he just was stubbornly going to win this game in a Tom Brady fashion while Tom Brady was announcing the game. And I'm like, I don't want to see Cowboys have no miracle, come from behind, win and beat the Ravens. And they come in this game now, and he's playing in a similar fashion, which is kind of funny, because this might be the least complete team that the Cowboys have had in the last 5 to 10 years, and he might be playing the best that he's ever played. And that's what you need to happen if you claim to have a superstar quarterback. You need him to be able to elevate, not, okay, I have a #1 Hall of Fame wide receiver. Obviously, that's going to be a good connection. He needs to be able to elevate the #2, #3, #4, #5 guys, depending on injuries, because their #2, Brandon Cooks, was out for this game as well. And the pass catchers last week against the Ravens were the #3 and 4 option, right? That were doing well, and they were looking consistent, and it was looking as though, yeah, we're serious, legitimate threats. And then what that does is you can't double team and even triple team CeeDee Lamb anymore,
so
right?
This game would have been relevant from what point of view? They're in the same, what's the relevance in your mind?
So I think it was more the development of the 2 teams. The Steelers had to figure out their quarterback situation long term. I don't know if Justin Fields is it. Ironically, you have Justin Fields being the starter on one side and Trey Lance being the backup on the other side. Again, this might be the weakness of that class, and do we have to reevaluate Trevor Lawrence because of that? Mac Jones, you know, how pro-ready were all of them, how talented all of them. Maybe Trevor Lawrence is the only one really that deserves to be a starter. But the game doesn't have that much implications, except now I think the Cowboys could legitimately, at least for this week, because by next week the narrative could change. They could say, look, maybe we do have one of the elite quarterbacks in the league, and then our lack of depth on our offense is not going to be a big deal, and if we could continue to defend the run, you can't do what you did to us in the early part of the season for the rest of the season. And they have an uphill battle because I think they're more contenders in the NFC generally, right? But this game is a weird game to judge either team by, because it was so late on Sunday night. because of weather. Lightning is one of the few things that's going to delay or stop a football game because danger to the crowd, danger to the players. I think it was like 1 a.m. when it was in the first quarter, or 11 p.m. when it was in the first quarter, right? So this is very late.
At least the lights didn't go out. All right, so let's go. All right, let's go to the last part of that game.
CD back in the slot.
Downall, first down to the 33-yard line. It's at the bottom. It's 3rd and 9. Prescott throws. It's Ferguson, the tight end. Got the first down right around the 20-yard line.
He saw the defender break inside.
Prescott comes to Lipke, the fullback. Here's Lipke on the run. Inside the 10, down to the 4-yard line. Lipke leads down to the football. Prescott back on it. Timeout Dallas. Back to 5. Whoa. Prescott looking that way. Dak throws in the middle, incomplete for Tolbert. Down to 1 play. Tolbert shaken up. Prescott throws, crossing, it's caught for the touchdown! It's Tolbert! Stays in the game and grabs it for the score!
Gear's going to get the crisscross and the pick coming across this way with the man coverage trying to trail it. You'll see the traffic in the middle of the field. CD right there. Just enough congestion to give Dak a little bit of room to get that in. And a little nod of the cap to Jalen Tolbert for hanging in there, obviously in pain. Clears back underneath. Dak puts it right on the money, and that was not an easy catch. You could see Elliott trying to strip that thing out of there, but strong hands and strong arms, and wow. But that timeout now very much does come into play here.
Go back to what you said earlier about Jalen Tolbert, the one guy for me during camp when CD was gone, the young guy who hadn't taken all the reps, he did. From the 21-yard line, Fields has a big arm, looking for space to get rid of it. He does, and it is dropped. And they move the ball much better than the Steelers did tonight. 7 to go. Pickens, and the backward passes begin here. Isaac Seumalo thrown back to the center, Frazier. Now Fields. Cross for Freiermuth. Over the head pass intended from McCormick is recovered by Dallas, and the Cowboys win. Pickens will get a flag thrown here. Jordan Lewis is going after him with good reason. A great job by the officials to defuse something that...
Look at the Cowboys. All right, let's go to the results. Victory for the Cowboys, Dallas Cowboys.
Yeah,
3-2.
yeah.
All right, Shawn Michael Small. No, we want to go to, that's the games, right, we got the results. Go. Commanders, Cardinals.
Nah, this is the results? Nah, this is the results from the week before.
Week before. All right, so let's...
well, let's go to these games today then.
Yes, okay.
All right. All right, so, I mean, no, go back to the other slide. There we go. First game tonight, Tampa Bay versus Falcons. I think this is...
No, this is the old one. This is Thursday, October 3rd. This is the old one.
Oh.
Yes, go back to the next one. Let's see the next one you have.
All right.
That's the right one.
That's the right one?
Yeah.
No. We played
All
the Dolphins.
right. All right. Well, we'll have to see what happens.
All right,
there.
come back to us. I'll get the schedule.
We'll get the schedule and talk about it, yeah.
Week 6.
So we're talking about the highlights, yes.
Right, tomorrow, Seahawks versus 49ers. That's going to be a big game.
Yeah.
I think both of the teams need a win in that game to kind of recover their momentum in the season, right? Seahawks, although I think the Seahawks, they just have a ceiling. DK Metcalf, like, he's a superstar. Who else is a superstar? Not so much. Some of their guys are aging out. That's very unfortunate. You have the Bears. You have the Bears this week.
It's going to be very tough.
Right? I don't know if it's going to be tough, though. I don't believe in the Bears.
But they're going to, they're 4-1. Are they 4-1 or 3-2?
The Bears have that much of a record? They're 3-2.
You know the team that we haven't spoken much about is Minnesota.
Yes.
And we should just touch on them because they are 5. They are the only team like the Kansas City Chiefs are 5-0.
I mean,
Sam Darnold.
It's true.
A 1-year contract.
This is a proven deal.
This is his 4th team. He's there because of injuries to the starter, and look what he's doing.
So one of the things, I think they're on a bye week this week, right?
Okay.
One of the things that I do wonder, because, okay, it's a switch, maybe we've seen Dak literally flip a switch in the last couple of weeks, right?
Right.
And again, he's an older quarterback from an older time. Yes, he could scramble, but he's not like Lamar Jackson scrambling. He's not like Kyler Murray scrambling, right? Or even Josh Allen, right? So perhaps now, because of how defenses are playing against these quarterbacks, if you could sit back, dissect the field, and that was more or less Sam Darnold's game. So he's now on the Vikings. He has Justin Jefferson, an elite pass catcher, to be his number 1, which arguably, when he was with the Jets and with the Panthers, I don't think he had anybody of this caliber of Jefferson. Jefferson made Kirk Cousins look pretty good. So
you think Kirk Cousins is regretting he left?
No, because I think he has... I think for Cousins, unless he got to like a Patriots type situation, something like that where you have this Hall of Fame defensive coach and a decent offense, like, or 2000 Ravens, if he replaces Trent Dilfer in that equation, how is he going to cement his legacy? How is he going to get a championship? Well, one of the ways he might not get a championship, but he could cement his legacy, is he could prove, listen, I was good in Washington, I was good in Minnesota, now I'm here at Atlanta, and I have all these young talents, and I'm going to be the guy that's going to lead them and develop them. And maybe, because it wasn't working out in Minnesota, so sometimes you just make a change for him. So maybe now in Atlanta, he has the right mix, and it works out, and he gets a championship.
As I mentioned Sam Darnold, I remember reading exactly what you said, that a lot of people are praising Flores, the Miami coach, former Miami coach, for his defensive style, because they say that has helped the team a lot.
Yes, and from what I understand, and it could be to some extent, it's hard to say that these coaches do what Belichick does, because I think they do some of what he does, but then also some of what the Patriots did when he was the head coach came from those defensive coordinators. So Flores is a coach, the controversy in Miami notwithstanding, and some of the criticism of the players, I think he's a good coach that got a bad rap in Miami, right? Because, hey, this current guy, he didn't have Tua. And this current guy doesn't look, Mike McDaniels doesn't look better than Flores without Tua either, right? So Flores comes in, he did his little suspension per se as an assistant coach last year. Now he comes with Minnesota. This could be part of the equation where, look, I need a quarterback for stability. You see, like again, I always remember 2009 or 2008, the Titans were undefeated up till week 13, and they looked like these monsters, and then they did not win. Basically, they didn't. I don't even think they got far in the playoffs, all things considered. That it was still the Ravens and the Colts, right, that year, and maybe the Jets and maybe the Patriots or what have you.
So they picked too soon?
It could be. It could be because they're taking advantage that they were ready for the start of the season and other teams were not. Flores, coming from an old school head coach that he trained under, might have been a bit more trying to get his guys to be ready to be for the physical rigors of the game. So we'll see. But to some extent, I think when you have a guy like Darnold, one of the good things about that is kind of like Kurt Warner, right? It's like part of his leadership is I could tell the guys about the regrets that I have.
All right. No regrets tonight, no regrets today. Let's see what happens on the weekend. Sean Michael Small.
I mean, Patriots playing Texans, so I have no hope there.
Texans, well, all right. No,
right?
I'm backing you all the way. Backing you all the way. All right, we go.
Yeah,
Mustangs.
Right. And one last thing. Cowboys playing the Lions. That might be the big game. Yeah, because a lot of people want to see how the Cowboys stack up against the Lions. The Lions are more of a threat than the Vikings.
Right, let's see what happens. Let's see what happens. Much thanks to Neil, much thanks to Rodney, much thanks to Josh Keaton. Of course, Sean Michael Small is here with me, Mael Ryan, and of course, Josh doing backup work. This has been WESN Content Capital Face of Sports. Goodbye.